As we approach Parshas Beraishis, Tav Shin Pei Dalet, all of our hearts and all of our prayers, all of our thoughts, all of our waking moments, and we have far more waking moments now than we ever have, because who can sleep knowing what is transpiring in Eretz Yisrael, knowing what has transpired in Eretz Yisrael, knowing what Acheinu Kol Beis Yisrael are experiencing, that which is heretofore unimaginable, certainly since the Holocaust, to a certain degree, perhaps even within a Holocaust. The reincarnation of Amalek. And we turn to Sefer Beraishis and the Parsha Beraishis, which is the beginnings of the year, the beginning of all that we are to embrace and imbibe from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When there are endless lessons, let me share one of the lessons with you that I think applies to us so well, given what we are experiencing. We know that Cain's korban to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in contrast to that of his brother Hevel, was rejected. And he's down in the mouth, and his face is sullen. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu speaks to him and explains how he could better his scenario, his situation. But nonetheless, having been rejected by God, whilst his younger brother's korban was accepted, he turns to Hevel in the field, state Chazal, and he kills him. And when HaKadosh Baruch Hu approaches him, and he turns to Cain saying, "Hey Hevel achicha, where is Hevel, your brother?" Cain said those immortal words. Vayomer, he said, "Lo yadati, I don't know. After all, Hashomer achi anochi, am I my brother's keeper?" HaKadosh Baruch Hu answers him, "You know all too well what you did, and you will suffer eternally for that sin, for having killed him." But those words, Hashomer achi anochi, am I my brother's keeper? Well, all of us know that in his own way, God answered him, and all of us would have answered him no differently. Are you your brother's keeper? He's your brother. Family protects each other. Family goes to the end of the world to protect each other and help each other and come to their aid and rescue them. And that applies to Jew and non-Jew alike. And as Jews, we know there are even halachic imperatives within the notion of responsibility for each other, a sense of arvus, responsibility that even goes so far as to enable us at times to effectively fulfill and discharge the obligation of another through that sense of arvus. So if we were standing in the Garden of Eden, I dare say we'd have a lot to say to Cain were he to pose the question to us. As Jews, as children, as siblings, and certainly as parents. But let me share with you a story that was told to me this morning by a very dear friend of mine whom I haven't spoken to in a very long time. But he's lived in Eretz Yisrael and he's been a chashiv, a rebbe, in girls' schools and girls' yeshivos and boys' yeshivos. And I called him up to ask him if any of his kids are in the army. And he told me yes. His son and son-in-law were called up and they were in Gaza. And his son or son-in-law left in the middle of Shabbos Kodesh to run there. And another son is up north. And he said to me, "Can I tell you a story?" I said, "Sure." He said, "I have a 4-year-old grandson. And this 4-year-old grandson has an older sister who's tough, a real sabra. But he's a wimp. He's much more mild. But his mother noticed the other day that he was stooping, he was shoving his clothing into the little knapsack that this 4-year-old takes with him to Gan. And she turned to him and said, "Tata, what are you doing?" He said, "I'm packing." She said, "Why? Why are you packing your clothes in your knapsack?" He said, "Because all of my friends at Gan have told me that they're so scared and they're so afraid that people out there are going to hurt them. So I'm packing my knapsack and I'm going to the army. in order to protect them. That's what he had seen his father had done on Shabbos Kodesh when he packed his own knapsack to run to his post in Gaza. See, he was packing his knapsack to protect his friends. The answer to the question, Hashomer Achi Anochi, am I my brother's keeper, is a resounding answer, affirmative, yes, you are. And that means that we can't sleep well at night. And we have to try to be mevakesh from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that he should show rachamim on all the hostages and all those who have been physically harmed and are sick, are ailing from what they suffered at the hands of those enemies of ours. Yamach Shema v'zichram. And we need to understand that we have to contribute as much as we can to the war effort financially. And we have to make calls to anyone and everyone that we are related to or that we know in Eretz Yisrael to see how they're doing. And we have to write letters and we have to daven our hearts out. And at the end of the day, the most important thing we have to do is we have to pack our knapsacks. Even if we can't be in the army, even if we're here in Gullus, but we have to feel to ourselves that we have to pack our knapsacks to go and help all of those whom we love, all of our brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers and children and siblings. Pack your knapsack. Cry yourself to sleep at night, baiting, imploring the Ribbon Shalom to have mercy and compassion upon us and to bring all those who have been taken home to us. Have a good Shabbos.